today's session is about consult call strategy. Next week, we're gonna work on how to really connect with people in the consult call. So it's more about the relationship piece of it. And then the third of this series is going to be, it's called Nail the Sale. So how you actually bring it all home and get that potential client to yes. Now I'm going to tell you that there are a lot of really sophisticated ways to do this. So we're going to start very simply with the consult call. And so we're going to cover some foundational elements for you that are really important. I always believe that we can make things so complicated. We can overthink it. We can make it really complicated. But there are a few key steps that we've got to be aware of that will help us to be successful every time. So today I'm going to share an example of a way that I've conducted some very easy consult calls in the past that it's gotten me clients almost every time. It's not the only method that I use, but especially when I was first starting out, it was the method that I used and it worked beautifully. So top 5 mistakes when holding the consultation call. I'm going to share my screen now. All right, everybody see my screen or my document? Okay. All right, so top 5 mistakes when holding the consultation call. Number 1, so I laughed after I came back and read this. I was like, there's a lot of words we could put in here. Not having your blank together before the call. So the word to fill in here is not having your packages together before the call. It's not a dirty word that you're supposed to put in there. All right, so not having your packages together before the call. So part of your confidence, it doesn't just come from your mindset and how you're feeling about yourself, but it really is about having everything together and knowing ahead of time exactly what you have to offer. So spending some time building out what that package looks like is really important. And your package it's not just about the services that you offer. Like, I offer 3-month coaching package with X number of coaching sessions, or I offer both, it's the package is also identifying some things that we've already talked about. Who is the ideal client? What are their pain points? What is it that they want? What's the situation that they're in and what is the result that they want? You've got to be able to think about what your packages do as far as that. So anyway, having your packages together before the call. Number 2, in terms of top 5 mistakes, having the mindset that we are just going to talk. And let me tell you why that's a problem. It's a problem because if you go in with the mindset that we're just going to talk, you're already sending a first impression to that client that you're not confident and you're not necessarily serious. So you've got to let them know that you're in the game, that you're in there with them from the very beginning. All right, number 3, not having a series of assessment questions prepared. So that means that when you're going into a consult call, you want to have some key questions that you use to really diagnose what's going on in the situation and to just deepen your understanding of the potential client, what their pain points are, what it is that they really want, and the questions that are going to help you to qualify them for the packages that you have. So for some of us, that might be a block. Well, qualify. I'm going to take clients. I'm going to get clients, and if they're paying, they're my client. I'm going to tell you that right up front, you've got to go ahead and establish who are your clients and who are not. From my own experience, I have had the clients from hell. And it was because I had that mindset that I was just going to take anybody who came along. And a great example of this is USA Gymnastics. So are you all aware of all of the controversy that went on with USA Gymnastics? Yes. Well, I had an HR team in USA Gymnastics right before all of that controversy happened. And Steve Penny, who was the CEO that, they've got the documentary on, he was the person that I was dealing with on a daily basis. And he was the absolute worst client on the planet. It is the one contract that I took that I absolutely regretted. It was miserable. Our lives were miserable. He insulted my HR consultants that I had on site with him. He discriminated against them. It was a horrible, horrible debacle. So you've got to make sure that you're qualifying your clients and making sure that they're people that you want to work with. Since that time, I have never taken a client that I didn't feel like that we were going to jive, and I've referred them to someone else. Or if I felt like they were really toxic, I didn't refer them to anybody because I didn't want that responsibility on me. So number four mistake is coaching the potential client instead of diagnosing them. So this is a big one, because especially if you have a coaching nature or a coaching background, it's natural to just try to step right in there with the client and coach them right through a problem. You're there to listen and to empathize, but you're there to, I want you to, instead of putting on a coaching hat with them, I want you to put on a doctor's. Well, does a doctor wear a hat? A doctor. Nurses do, but you know how back in the day they used to have like that silver stuff, yeah, or whatever it is. Yeah, but our goal in the consultation is to diagnose what's going on and assess what's going on, not coach them. All right. So the fifth and final mistake when holding the consult call is fearing the sales talk and leaving things open-ended. So this is a big one, especially for those of us that we like harmony, we don't like conflict, and we want to say, we don't want to hear the rejection. We don't want to hear that, no, I don't want to do that. And so sometimes we'll go ahead and we'll cut that off. We'll cut that possibility off, and we'll say, well, okay, that's great. Think about it and just get back with me. If you think that you're interested in doing that, you know what? People are busy and they are not going to chase after you. This means that, you've got to be confident about the way that you close that conversation. You've got to create the options, and you really have to ask for the sale in so many ways. Sometimes it's directly asking for the sale. Sometimes it's, it's definitely not leaving it open end. Well, get back to me if you're interested. It's more, well, let's connect. I'll send over the proposal and the agreement, and let's schedule a call for tomorrow to go over that and cover any questions that you have, and then move forward from there. So there's some different things that you can do there. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to break up into partners, and I want you to discuss these two questions. First of all, the biggest reasons we don't get clients in consultations. I want you to answer that question. What's the biggest reason that people don't get clients? And maybe you're even talking about yourself. And the second one is, what are your biggest challenges where consultation calls are concerned? All right, so I'm going to break you up into.
Hey, Angie, before we do that, can I ask a question really quick?
Sure.
If we have time. Number 4 really, 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 really resonates with me. If we have time, can you maybe give an example just to show the difference between coaching talk and diagnosing talk?
Yeah, and we are going to cover that also in more depth in our next 2 sessions too.
Okay.
If we have time at the end, I'll try to do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, let's see here. Breakout rooms, let's see, how many are there of you today? 5 of you. Okay, it'll be 2 to 3, 2 and 3. Here we go. Welcome back. Let's see. Do we have everybody? Who are we missing? We're missing Esther.
I'm here.
Esther's there.
Okay, maybe my thing's not big enough here. Okay, there's everybody. All righty. Well, let's do a quick check-in. So, who wants to share about how the discussion went? What you shared?
So Dee Dee and I had a great conversation, and we talked about essentially what she had asked you about, going from like when the number 4, coaching, to diagnosing. Mm-hmm. And that I think we didn't both say this, but we both, I think, pretty much consensus is that's our biggest challenge right now. When we're doing a consultation, we want to go right into, oh, we want to help you, we want to do this, and we want to, and I love that Dee Dee, she looked at it more as, like, I'm going to use this word, clinical approach. So like more from a, when you go in and you do triage, the triage nurse, this is what she's, is asking you questions like, what medications are you on, what symptoms? So a little bit more clinical in our approach when we're doing the consultation.
Right. Yeah, and I love that you're even saying the clinical approach. It's not that you are distant and unattached from them, but it has to do with the nature of your questions. Are they questions that are designed to assess? Because you're trying to put together a package for them, or put together some solutions for them that are really going to hit their pain points. So even if you just use the emergency room analogy, just imagine, if you got somebody in there and they're having appendicitis, right? And you're coming in there and you're saying, oh, how does that feel right now? That person's going to want to punch your face off, because versus, okay, where's the pain at? What's the impact of you right now? When was the last time you did this, and this? But as you get more advanced on doing the consult calls, you're going to notice that your questions change also, because you're taking that information and you want to be able to say, you've got that pain point, here's the solution that I have for that. Yes. And you also want them to understand, well, so what you're saying is that you've been living a life where you're not full of joy, you're struggling with the money, you're insecure in your finances, and you wish that you could solve these problems. Is that what I'm hearing? Versus, oh, here's how you can fix that. Here's so it's the same thing with consultation.
Hey, Angie, and really quick, with both of these, the biggest challenge and the reason, anyway, both of those for me, I think I realized too, I'm making it about me versus focusing on the client. So I think I go right into coaching because it's natural and I kind of like it. It feels good. Mm-hmm. And then I felt like anything that looked like sales intimidated me, because again, I'm making it about me versus focusing on the needs of the client. So this is really good timing for what we're discussing.
Yeah. Others, anybody else have any thoughts or something that was valuable in your discussion?
Yeah, basically what we talked about was confidence. if you go into the call and you're not confident in what you're presenting or what you're offering, they pick that up immediately.
Yes.
And that has been a problem. We didn't really get to the second question because there was 3 of us.
Yeah. Yeah. So big reason why you don't get clients in consultations, it's definitely got to do with confidence. It also has to do with our listening abilities.
Yeah.
So even though we're not here to coach them in the consultation, you still want to use the tool that I use with all of you, and that's the listening coach, because you want to hear more deeply what's going on with them. And so for those of you who don't know what listening coach is, it's a tool that I use where you're basically taking everything that they've said and even identifying the things that they haven't said. You're looking at what it is that they're valuing in what they're saying, and you basically summarize that back. You take what they said and you reframe it back to them, and then you turn around and ask them another powerful question to continue to forward the conversation. So, and we'll talk about listening coach. I want to save a lot of that for our call next Friday, because we're going to work on what that sounds like and what that looks like. Okay. Anything else that, in terms of biggest challenges, you want to come up with anything different that we haven't already talked about?
Well, mine is very unique in what I do, because I'm basically uncovering people's money blocks. So as part of my consultation is asking them specifically about their money. So I'm asking them, what is your income? What is your debt? And I'm telling you, that is a very sensitive topic. And I've had people just absolutely almost lay into me.
Yeah.
I feel very uncomfortable. And yet, in order to figure out their pain points and what it's costing them, I have to discuss that. So it's like, I don't know how to do it without not being, because I'm and most of the time I'm recording the call, and I need to ask, I want them to play it back and hear it, but I also need to ask if that's okay, because some people are not okay with that. So I need to realize that.
Yeah, it's a trust thing. And so when you're asking people what their income is and you have not established the trust, you're going to lose them as a potential client. So it definitely has to be approached differently when you're asking those very sensitive questions. I mean, it's really, and I would question, do you really have to know that on the first consult, or is there a way to ask that question? Even setting it up front, hey, I want to let you know that one of the questions that I asked for my assessment has to do with your income, and I want you to be comfortable with this. So what would make you more comfortable?
And see, I basically part of it's like, we're going to get to, we want to get to know you. I want to uncover, what's holding you back. We're going to dig deep, and some of these questions may be uncomfortable, and maybe I need to say, do we, is that, asking about some of your money situation. Maybe I should say, is that okay? Because I haven't really done it. Okay.
Yeah, and if you say, is that okay? And they say yes, then there's psychological agreement there. But even so, it could be that you, instead of asking for their bottom line, you put it into categories. Is your income above this level, or
Okay.
in this range? So that might make it more comfortable. But and I'm not going to spend any more time on that, because that's more of we need to work on how to approach that in one-on-one. But it's definitely a challenge. You got to build the trust. Right. So that leads to just some key information that you need to know around reasons why why they buy and why they don't buy. So there are a number of things here, but the bottom line is trust. And you know what? You're getting on a consultation with them, and they know that you're going to try to sell them something. They already know that, okay? And so it's just the way that, even though they know that you're going to try to sell something to them, your goal is to build trust with them, to really understand their problem and speak their language, so that they want to get out their credit card and do business with you, you know, so that you can help them and you can provide them with the services they need. And you need to have the confidence that you're not there just to take their credit card. You're there to provide value. So you see all of these pieces fit together. Okay. All right, so few key things here. Consult call strategy before you even go in to a consult. So Lucy, one of the things that you do, I mean, you work on bookings here, you know, so basically when people come in and do a tour, for example, this still applies to you. You're consulting with potential bookers, potential members, and so it's important to find out what's important to them. So this is all relevant to you. So the very first one, identify and be clear about what you have to confidently offer. So that's really understanding your packages, your value proposition, and how you are different. I have a space here for you to identify these things. So who right now can tell me something that you offer? What is an option or a package, a part of your package that you offer?
Assessments.
Okay, tell me more.
Assessments on where someone is in relation to their host or destination culture, where there may be some blind spots and where there may be some alignments.
Okay.
Is that what you're looking for, or are you looking for a different type of?
No, I wanted you to
Yes,
start
sir.
somewhere. And here's the thing, whenever we're asked this question, what do you offer? Here's what I noticed about the group. Oh, I'm not sure I need to answer that. I'm not sure I'm going to have the right answer. What do I offer? Right. So immediately the confidence piece came up. Well, I'm not really sure what I offer. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So this is an area that if I am a potential client to you and I say, hey, what do you offer? That is something that there needs to not be a hesitation. It needs to be, well, I offer a variety of coaching services for corporate women who are wanting to build their confidence. I also work with entrepreneurial women to help them to transition out of corporate and into to business ownership. But I also work with entrepreneurs who currently own their business and they need to remodel that. And I also provide done-for-you services like websites, graphics, blah, blah, blah. So you need to be able to articulate that package to where it starts to pique their interest. Okay. So let's just give this another try. And this is a safe environment. So there's nothing that you can say that's going to stop everybody from loving you in this group. Okay. So I want to hear from somebody else, you know, tell me about a package or some options that you offer.
Yeah, I'll go.
Okay.
I offer tools and processes that help you uncover and clear your money blocks, what's stopping you from having the money and success you try so hard to achieve. And there, I just stumbled over it, but that's what I do.
Okay. All right. So that was good. It was concise. The one thing when we talk about packages, you want to identify, you know, who are you targeting?
I particularly want to target holistic entrepreneurs, but I think anybody that's a self-employed business owner is who I'm targeting.
Yeah. So you could actually say both. I mean, I talk about that I work with corporate and entrepreneurial women.
Okay.
You know, you could very easily say, you know, I work with holistic entrepreneurs, but I also work with whatever the other audience was that you said. I can't remember.
They're the ones that get self-doubt and their confidence and things like that, just like I did, so I can identify with them.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And I appreciate you you having the courage to just jump out and do that, Catherine. So thank you. Let's try one more. Someone else. Lucy, what packages do we
I
offer?
knew you were gonna pick me. I offer a lot of different options for a person who is looking to host a social event or a party that it's successful, so it becomes successful. So I offer helping them to plan their event. How are we different? Well, we offer a lot of different things, like a safe environment, a big parking lot. We offer some refreshments and an amazing furniture that all of you know. And we also have some extra services, so you don't have to go and look for them by yourself, but we have them here. We can recommend it to you, like decorators, we have caterers, we have we have the chairs and the tables and tablecloths and anything you can imagine, we can recommend it to you.
All right, so you have a bunch of stuff there. And so the thing, when we start talking about what you offer, that's why it's really critical to just sit down and write this down. Because when you sit and you write it down or you type it up, you can move things around, and really you want to start with, for example, for the VIP Center, if I'm talking about memberships, if someone asks me, well, what do you offer? Well, we offer 4 different memberships. We offer a virtual membership. We have a 5-day day pass. We have a basic membership, and then we have a premium membership for people who want to have a shared office space in our building. So you see where I've just started with, I've segmented those. And then you can start to go into a little bit more about the benefits. So when I think about, like, we have a large parking lot, I mean, that's a benefit, that's a perk, and it comes a little bit later in the package. But really, you want to speak to, you want them to understand in their mind, what is it that you really do, and what is it, how can you help me? So does that make sense?
So do you almost need a couple of different ideas of how you can speak to clients? Because I kind of feel like, there are so many things in the app that I can market that it's overwhelming. And so it's almost like you have to diagnose what they're looking for first, so you can narrow in on what you offer that benefits them the most. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, so you need to you definitely need to think out what you could potentially offer. And as you're going through the consult, that's why you have your assessment questions. You're trying to find out what are their biggest pain points, and you really are diagnosing. So for example, I have different coaching packages. I have packages based, for women who are simply trying to build confidence and they're struggling with mindset issues. It's Master Your Mindset, right? I've got Ready, Set, Succeed. This is for, I've got a couple of different audiences here. So I have women who are in corporate making the leap. I also have women who they're just starting their business, or they're new in their business and they need help really getting it going. So if I'm doing a consult, I'm going to talk to someone and I'm going to fill them out to see which, is it more about the confidence for them, or is it more about, I need help with my business? So that's an example of those packages. So Rachel, if I think about you've got to play out all the possibilities. Who are the potential clients that might be coming in, and what is it that they might need? What is it, how is it that they're hurting? You might have a client who is, they're struggling with, they don't really know how to manage their money goes out as quickly as it comes in. And what they need is they need someone to help them to figure out a budget, pay off their debt, you know, so you would have a package for that. You know, I offer packages, and you can frame it up like, I offer packages to people who are struggling to manage their budget and go from struggling to manage their budget to creating a plan that helps them to pay off their debt faster so that their money can be freed up to do the things that they like. So for each of you, this is very individual, but what I'm challenging you to do, and I want you to come back to next week's session with thinking about, you know, what are at least 2 packages that you could offer? Because I'm going to ask you to be able to share those, okay? All right, we got to move on. So, and we're going to use this worksheet also next week, so you won't get a new one.
Okay.
Okay, the wheel of death has just popped up for whatever reason. Okay, second question, identify the key assessment questions you need to ask to understand the potential client, what they value, and what their pain points are. Sorry, ladies, my screen is frozen. I don't know what's been going on with my internet connection.
I'm sorry, ladies, I have to jump off. I have another call for work.
Okay.
So.
Okay,
Have a
no
good week,
problem.
guys.
We're about to finish up. So when we say assessment questions, this can be, it just depends on how complex your business is. You know, think about the key things that you need to know in order for you to diagnose or to be able to offer them some options. So example, you know, whenever I start out a consult, you know, after we work through the report, I'm normally saying, well, first of all, tell me more about you and your situation. So I'll throw out that general question to see where they land, because they're usually going to start with the things that are hurting them the most. But that's just the initial question. So it may be, you may have assessment questions like, okay, well, how is that impacting your finances right now?
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, so how do you see that playing out in the culture right now? Or in what ways is that stifling your HR team so that you're not getting maximum productivity out of them? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you to be thinking about a couple of key questions that you know that you need to ask to diagnose, not coaching questions. This is to diagnose what's going on. Okay, and then, oops, there we go. Finally got it unstuck. So this is something that we're going to work on in the next couple of weeks. We're going to talk about how to transition from assessment to offering solutions in the consult call, because I find that's the most awkward place. Because here's where you've been diagnosing, you feel like you're in the driver's seat, and then suddenly you got to transition to, well, I need to present this person with some options and solutions. So what we need to do is create some key phrases that will help us to mentally transition into that. So I'll just give you an example of one that I use. When I'm transitioning, I will make this statement, I'm 100% certain that I can help you with this challenge. Where do you want to go next? That's where my default, the one that I typically use to help me to get comfortable with the transition. So we'll be identifying that. And then, you know, here's a really good question to ponder. You know, how will you ask for their business? How will you do that? And so what we want to avoid is saying, okay, well, call me back if you're interested. We want a definitive call to action for, to get them to select an option or move forward with seriously considering a proposal. Here's one. This is more around the sales conversation. We won't cover this so much next week, but we'll cover it the week after that. What objections do you need to plan for? So week after next, we're going to actually practice these conversations. So we need to build up we need to start filling this form out for yourselves so that we can practice the conversations and I can give you some feedback on it. I gave you a really, really quick high-level outline of the way that I started out when I was in consulting, just starting out. This was exactly what I did. I would establish rapport with them. Hey, tell me more about you. Tell me more about your situation. And once I would do that, I would say, so we have an hour. Here's what I'd like to cover in that hour. So, and I would give them basically, I want to find out more about you and your situation. So I'm going to be asking some questions. Once I hear what you have to say, I'd like to share more about what I do. And if we think it makes sense to work together, I'll share with you, some solutions that I've used with people in the past. So, I just give them an outline of what we're going to talk about. And then after that, we go into it. We're digging for pain points. We use listening coach. We will be practicing that on our next set. We're going to be practicing listening coach and how to use that for these conversations. It's the most valuable tool that you'll use. Asking them, what would you like the ideal outcome to be? Some version of that question. It's transition. So here's another transition that I have. What's most important to you right now? Is it budget, speed, or experience? If you look at these three, what's most important to you now? So that's another way to diagnose where they are in the decision-making process. Offering the options or putting together a proposal if it's a more complex thing like Deetra right now, you've got something that's a little bit more than, hey, we could do with coaching option A, B, or C. You've got something that will require an actual proposal. So that's a different avenue. And then do not leave without scheduling a follow-up call or some kind of connection point or decision point. Okay, I know it's 3:02. We went a little bit over. So do you ladies think that you can put a little bit of meat to this worksheet and be prepared next week to start learning how to do all this?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
because I work better when I have a deadline.
Right.
Same.
Okay, so here's the homework for next Friday. By the way, we will do the implementation call on Monday. If there's anything, if you're working on this and you have some questions of clarity, we can answer those on the implementation call. Mm-hmm. But next Friday, I want you to put some meat in each of these boxes. And if you don't know, just put in the box, I don't know, I need help with this, which is fine. So that's what we're coming together in the mastermind for. So we'll go over this. We'll talk about how to really connect with them in the consult call. Anybody have any questions or comments?
No.
Very good.
Joanna,
Very
can we
helpful.
pray for you?
This is excellent. I never even get to the consult call, so I feel like this is way past me.
Well, maybe if we can help you to create a vision of the consult call, then serendipity will kick in and they'll start coming.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
One of the things I do on the transition, I ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being I'm ready to get started now, or I want to change my situation now, to 1, I can handle, I can continue the way I am. Where would you be? And we were told if they're an 8 to a 10, they're ready. If they're below an 8, right, probably don't even bother.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Yeah, when we talk about objections too, when people say, well, I'm not really sure, that's an objection right there that and it's really about saying, I agree. It sounds like you haven't made a decision yet. I'm wondering if this is the same challenge that's causing you to have the results that you're getting now.
Ah,
Yeah,
good.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I do too.
It's a freebie, write it down. All right, ladies. So I'll have Cart make sure that he posts this on the library. So if you need to go back and take a peek at it or listen at it, that's absolutely fine. But we'll revisit the same form next Friday. And if you want to jump on the implementation call Monday at 4, I'll be there.
Hey,
Thank
Angie.
you. Bye, everyone.
Yep,
Bye.
I'll stay on.
Angie,
Yeah.
all of your things go to my spam, and I have to kind of dig through there. And Cart said that I should whitelist it, and I don't know how to do that. In your Gmail, can you tell me where you find that setting?
Yeah. So, let me do a quick search here. It's been a long time since I've done that.
Okay, don't take time then. I'll figure it out.
That's fine. How to whitelist an email. Do you have Gmail?
Yeah. So all your things go to my promotions folder. I have to dig through there to find them.
Log into your Gmail at Gmail. Click the gear icon on the top right. Select settings. Okay. Here's what I'll do. I'll copy and
Yeah,
paste.
I can do that. I should have already done that.
It's fine. I wanted to see it too. Okay. So I'm going to send this to you right now. So if my email goes to spam,
Yeah.
let's do. There you go.
Okay, thank you.
You are so welcome.
See you later.
See you later. Bye-bye.